Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. That's the true power of heaven and earth. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring in his word in truth and sincerity. Lord willing, this could be an edifying video. And as you see, this is breaking news, and I've came across a lot of reports on it. I asked ChatGPT about it just to see if it's true and to get more information on what will happen. What's the worst that can happen from this? As you can see, it says the United States main oil distribution hub, Cushing, is running out of oil, per CNN. And, Colonel Douglas McGregor, he's been speaking on this, different videos. I saw him mentioning it, saying that by the end of July or August, we can really see, things get out of hand. And, I'm going to just go ahead into what ChatGPT said about this. But this, this is big. All right. This is big, man. We're about to see Isaiah 4:1 come to pass real soon. All right, because it's about to get bad out here, and everybody is going to be affected. All right, these celebrities, these sellouts, everyone is going to be affected by the inflation, which will become hyperinflation. Okay, it's going to affect everyone. But as you see, I asked, so the U.S. main hub oil Cushing, according to reports, is getting low, and that if the war with Iran doesn't stop, it could get worse. Is this true? What's the absolute worst that could happen from it? So chat said, yes, there is truth to that. Recent data shows oil inventories at the major U.S. storage hub in Cushing, Oklahoma, have fallen sharply. Cushing is important because it's the delivery point for U.S. WTI crude oil futures and a key pipeline crossroads for the country. Recent reports put inventories near 22 to 24 million barrels, which is getting close to what analysts call operationally low levels. And it was an article that came out like a week or two ago that said the strategic oil reserves here in America is reaching its lowest that it's been since, I think it said 1980 or 1970, something like that it said. So, it's getting low, man. And of course, this is all part of the agenda, because they're saying all of these cars, these newer cars, I believe they said either 2025 or 2026 and up, will mandatory have, facial recognition and, cameras in them, pretty much that can see what you're doing. And they're saying that, if you're tired, if you yawn, the car won't start. Pretty much, want to put restrictions on you. And it makes sense because in the NWO, they want everything AI anyway. So these driverless cars is going to take over, so it makes sense why they're doing this. All right, they don't want you driving anyway. We're getting ready to transition to an AI digital world, man. Okay, so they got to get, this crash going. But it says like I just read it says the reason people are concerned is that the Iran conflict and disruptions around the Strait of Hormuz have reduced global supplies, causing inventories worldwide to be drawn down. All right, Europe is already being, heavily affected by this. Okay, and other areas. Okay, so, people inventories are getting low. It says the U.S. Energy Information Administration recently warned the global oil inventories could fall to their lowest levels in decades if disruptions continue. And it's given, articles. Reuters is a good, news outlet. It says worst realistic outcome if the conflict escalates and oil flows remain disrupted. Gas prices could surge significantly. Diesel shortages could develop in some regions. Inflation could rise because transportation costs affect nearly everything. Airlines, trucking, farming, and manufacturing would face higher costs. The economy could slow or even enter a recession if energy prices stay elevated long enough. So pretty much this is the crash, man. Okay? and this is beautiful. And this war isn't going to stop. All right, they're talking about in 24 hours they supposed to sign a deal. Well, the deal is pretty much Babylon surrendering. And BB is not about to allow that to happen. Reports is already saying that BB is someone over there in Israel, one of their defense ministers is saying that they're not going to stop the war in Lebanon, because this agreement that Babylon is talking about signing with Iran, a part of it is that all the fronts got to stop. All right, the war in Lebanon got to stop. And them tiny tops ain't about to do that, man. So this war is going to keep going. All right, we're not in the time of peace. Okay? We're in the time of war. So we can expect these things to happen. All right? So when it said inflation could rise because transportation costs affect nearly everything, I'm going to finish off what chat said, but let's go ahead and get into the scriptures. All right? I want to start off here in 2nd Ezra 6. I think it's 6. Or it might be... Let me just type it in. Okay, it is 6. Dang, I just scrolled past it. This 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So this is going to catch all of these people that's not paying attention to what's going on. It's going to catch them off guard. See, we're watching. So we're expecting these things to happen. But it's going to be suddenly, man. You know, see, these stores, they constantly need trucks delivering goods. Constantly. Because people are always going in buying stuff, and things get low quickly, man. Okay? Especially, you know, during the summertime, you know, people are always buying drinks, buying water, buying, you know, juice and, you know, different, to stay hydrated. So they run out quickly, man. I remember when I worked at a convenience store, one time we didn't get a truck. I believe a whole week went by, or maybe 2 weeks, where we didn't get a truck. We was supposed to get a truck, and the damn near the whole cooler was empty, man, in the convenience store. You know? So it's not going to take long for this to happen. And it's going to be suddenly, you know. You're going to go in there one day and it's going to be like, damn, they ain't got nothing. They ain't. And guess what? That in itself, you know, is going to cause prices to go up because goods aren't being delivered like that. So the goods become more valuable. Okay? So these full storehouses, you know, people are used to going to the grocery store and they always got, you know, what you going to get. You know, you're going to get some hamburger meat. It's there. You're going to get bread. It's there. You're going to get fruit. It's there. People are just used to it. So once they're empty, hey, people going, well, what's going? Dang, I didn't mean to do that. At least it's still recording. People going, well, what's going on? Why? And then people going to want to look into what's going on too late, because a lot of these people, man, they don't know what's going on. All right, they caught up on the World Cup, you know, the NBA Finals, you know, Drake album. You know, they just caught up in a bunch of folly, man, which, you know, we keep up with all these things, but we're not consumed by it. These people are consumed by this shit, man. All right, so jumping back, it said, you know, gas prices could surge significantly. So You know, hey, if you paying $5, $6, $7 a gallon, and I'm talking about on the East Coast, we know it's going to be higher than that on the West Coast. You know, hey, people going, not be able to afford to really drive like that. You know, I'm already seeing people talking about how they buying electric bikes, and which that is wise if you live in a commute area where you can, everything is pretty close. You wouldn't have to drive your car, and it would be easier for parking. But you got people talking about, get ready to walk because it's gonna get, gas is gonna get too high, which is, once again, it's gonna make everything go up. Your electric bill is gonna go up. Everything is gonna go up, man. Okay. So that's why Isaiah 4:1, it's just gonna make sense. Women are gonna, if a man has the bare necessities, because these women, man, they just bugged out. Social media done bugged them out, man. But they're gonna look for a man that got the bare necessities, man. If you you ain't gonna need a whole lot. You got a roof, you you got a job, because it's gonna be in waves. Of course, we know the top men they're gonna desire is gonna be the men of the Lord, because the Lord is gonna make a man more precious than fine gold. But as we speak amongst brothers, Isaiah 4:1 is gonna manifest in different phases. All right. So you in the grocery store, hey, women gonna be paying attention, man. Oh, I saw this man, he's getting groceries. I need to shoot my shot. I need to, get to know him, cause hey, man, women are gonna get into that survival mindset, man. Okay. Ain't gonna matter your height, all this shit that they say now, your height, your what kind of car you drive, how much money you got, all that gonna be thrown out the window, man. Because women backs are gonna be against the wall. But it said, diesel shortages could develop in some regions. Inflation could rise because transportation costs affect nearly everything. Airlines, trucking, farming, and manufacturing would face higher costs. The economy could slow or even enter a recession if energy prices stay elevated long enough. So, it's also making me think about, let me go ahead and grab that. 2nd Esdras 15. All right, verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So, people gonna want to travel. They might want to make it. They might be out of state. They want to go to the state where their family is. They might want to be reconciled with their family, but they ain't gonna be able to. Why? Because it's gonna be unaffordable, and most people ain't gonna be able to afford a plane ticket, because them tickets gonna get super expensive. You see, Spirit Airlines went out of business, so it's gonna be more of these plane companies going out of business. And if you want a plane ticket, it's gonna be ridiculously high, man. And then eventually all that gonna be shut down. It's about to get bad out here, man. But reading on, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. It's a scripture where it speaks about the mighty men shall cry bitterly. So if the men gonna be like that, we already know how the women gonna be. All right, the women gonna be two times that. Because yes, you are the weaker vessel, and reality is gonna hit everyone in the face. Everyone is gonna feel this, man. Okay, so you people, you have the illusion of nothing's going on because the war is happening overseas. You're still able to afford, which people are struggling. People are still putting up videos crying about how it's getting too hard to survive. But this is just the beginning of sorrows. See, now you still have the illusion that everything's okay because, yes, prices is going up. Yes, gas is going up, but you can still go to McDonald's. You can still somewhat get by. But it's going to get to the point where it's going to be damn near impossible if you're not shackled with one man sharing him and everyone is putting their resources together. Okay, that's what it's going to lead to, man. Okay? And we're going to make good use of the women that the Lord's sent our way. Because you do have a lot of women, they may have a car, but they ain't got a house. They might be staying with their parents or staying with roommates, you know, or, you know, they're going to have some kind of way they can add to us, man. You ain't coming with just pussy. All right? Them days going to be over with. So, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. The modern day sword is the gun. And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So, you know, it's going to get, you know, very expensive to buy food. The scripture speaks about a day's pay for a loaf of bread. So that's going to cause people to just steal and rob and murder, man, for food. People going to rob their neighbors and spoil their house. Going to take everything they got. Going to blast them, put them to death, and take everything they got, man. You know, I'm thinking about like survival games like this game I play called DayZ. It's a survival game, man. And pretty much on there, what you want to do, you want to get a gun, you want to get some ammo, and you want to find somebody that, you know, they've been playing for a while. They got a lot of loot. You want to kill them and you want to take their shit. And that's how it's going to be, man. People going to live by the sword, man. It's going to be survival, man. Men are going to adapt. Women are going to look for a man that can protect them. All right? Because women aren't built for adversity. Women aren't built for tough times, man. That's when biology kicks in. Okay? But jumping back, it says, absolute worst case scenario, the nightmare scenario would be a prolonged closure of the Strait of Hormuz, major Middle East oil production remaining offline, U.S. inventories falling toward critical operational levels, which is going to happen, oil prices potentially reaching $150 to $200 per barrel, which is going to happen. And that's going to, you know, out here on the East Coast, that's going to put, if it hit $150 to $200 per barrel, that's going to be like maybe like $8 a gallon if it hit 200. Because when it hit like 109, 110, which gas, the price of oil keeps fluctuating because Trump is manipulating the markets by lying, you know, talking about peace deals, saying the war is over, all this shit. But as the war keeps going, okay, it's going to get worse, right? But when oil hit like 109, gas prices was like $4.29. So if it hits $200, and I'm just speaking about the East Coast, all right, regular gas is going to be like $8 a gallon, $9 a gallon, and diesel will easily be like $11, $12 a gallon, $13 a gallon, maybe more, maybe like 15. So that would mean on the West Coast, regular gas may be like $12, $13. And when it gets to that point, that's Isaiah 4:1 in full bloom, man. Because food prices is going to be through the fucking roof. And people going to be robbing these truckers, man. People going to be, you know, robbing truck drivers that's delivering goods. All right, police officers going to turn in their badges at an all-time high. You know, so crime is going to skyrocket, man. There will be no law enforcement. These things are going to happen. It says nationwide fuel rationing or localized shortages similar to historical energy crisis. So it says the good news right now, there are signs the situation may not be as bad as originally feared. Some oil exports are still finding alternative routes, and reports today indicate a possible U.S.-Iran peace agreement is being discussed. Oil prices have actually fallen recently on hopes of reduced tension. And that's what I was speaking on. You know, because oil now is like at $89 a gallon, 80, 85, something like that. It went down. Okay. but it's gonna go back up. Okay, so let me grab Isaiah 4:1. That'll be this video. No, I did a lot of babbling, but Lord willing, it's edifying, man. This is good news. This is Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So these women, they're going to, come humble, come, fully submissive, all pride going, because they're going to be desperate. See, desperation overrides pride. Okay? So all that pride going to be gone, and they going to be begging, man. They going to be begging, they're going to be hopeless. So they're going to be willing to do whatever, to not be affected by what's going on. And they're not going to care how many wives you got. They're going to, can I please be your 10th wife, please? I won't slow you down. You don't have to worry about feeding me or clothing me. I'll take care of myself. Just let me be your wife. So, women going to come up with gifts, man, and ways they can benefit. And one way I'm thinking of, chick may have a car, man. Look, I got a car, this can help us out for in the meantime. We can put our money together. We can put some gas in it. We can make it work. All right. That's just one example, but that's just what's coming to mind. And that's coming to mind because my car is out of commission. I need another car. So that's coming to mind. But it's gonna be many other examples, man. All right. But this is beautiful, man. I don't want to keep dragging this video though. Lord willing, it was edifying. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.